Welcome to One Bite is Everything, the podcast that connects every bite you take to the bigger world. Because food isn't just food. It's health, community, the environment, and the economy all on your plate. And that's what I want to get into today. Sometimes we start at the beginning, accelerate really quickly inside our own heads, and then start talking about something only to find out that our listeners, our friends, our people have missed all the middle pieces and some of the foundational beginning, making whatever we're saying impossible to understand. I'm your host, Dana DePrima, and sometimes I think I'm guilty of that. So today I wanted to dive into food, yes, but more into the less obvious connections and impacts our food and our choices have on our lives. Let's start with this. If you spent any time with me here or on social media or on Substack, you have heard this before. Food is not just food. Let's talk about what that means. Most of us were taught to think about food in very personal terms. What do I like? What's for dinner? What fits my budget? What's quick and easy after a long day at work? Are we cooking at home tonight, or are we going out or getting something delivered? Those are real questions, but they're also incomplete because food doesn't stop at your plate. This is the central mantra of this show. Every bite connects to 4 systems that deeply affect our lives, whether we're paying attention or not: health, community, environment, and economy. So today, I want to slow this down and walk through each one, not in slogans, not in headlines, just in real-world connections that help explain why food matters so much more than we've been taught. Let's start with health. One of the hardest truths to sit with is that our food system is now one of the primary drivers of chronic disease in this country. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, roughly 6 in 10 adults in the United States live with at least one chronic illness, many of them diet-related, including heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. At the same time, research cited by the National Institutes of Health shows that 70% of calories in the American diet come from ultra-processed foods. 70%. That number didn't climb because people suddenly stopped caring about their health. It climbed because we've built a system that prioritizes shelf stability over nourishment, speed over quality, and scale over care. Walk into almost any grocery store and look closely at the middle aisles. You'll see packaging covered in wellness language: natural, high protein, heart smart. But when you turn those boxes around, you often find long ingredient lists that add vitamins and flavor to core ingredients that have been stripped of their natural nutrients in processing, as well as added sugars and stabilizers designed to keep products uniform for months. I used to buy English muffins in that cardboard trough inserted into that plastic bag and secured with that little square notched plastic doohickey. Do you know the one I mean? I would put them in the cabinet, not even in the fridge, and a month later, they would emerge as fresh as ever. And a month later, the same, and on until one day I threw them out and never bought them again. How can a bread that never goes bad actually be a bread? How can it be good for you? Meanwhile, farmers growing healthy vegetables, grains, beans, and producing dairy and meat with integrity are competing against foods engineered in factories. This isn't about individual willpower. It's about what gets subsidized, what gets marketed, what becomes ubiquitous, and what quietly disappears from the shelves. I remember one of the first interviews I had for this show about 6 years ago. Joe Evans and his wife Jackie farmed Katahdin sheep for meat. In addition to the lambing and the herding and protecting the sheep from weather and predators, Joe became a grass expert. Grass-fed lamb needs good grass with all the nutrients. The depth of the health of the lamb has a direct impact on the healthy benefits that meat delivers to your body. I remember it like it was yesterday. Joe said, "We are not in the farming business. We are in the healthcare business. That really stuck with me. We are still disconnected from this truth. When we talk about rising healthcare costs, we almost never trace them back to how food is produced, processed, and priced. We should, because food doesn't just fill stomachs. It shapes bodies, energy levels, immune systems, and long-term health outcomes. Food is healthcare, whether we call it that or not. Food also shapes how we live together. When food becomes anonymous, communities weaken. Research summarized by the USDA and local food system economists show that dollars spent directly with farmers circulate locally more than 3 times the rate of money spent at large national grocery chains. That means when you buy food close to home, more of that money stays close to home. It supports local jobs, local businesses, local schools, and local infrastructure. But the impact goes far beyond economics. Food used to be relational. People knew who grew their carrots, kids learned where eggs came from, neighbors often exchanged recipes, farmers recognized their customers. Now most food travels through supply chains so long and opaque that we've lost any sense of the people behind it. What I've learned through this work is that farmers don't just grow food. They anchor rural communities most of us never visit. They volunteer with fire departments. They coach youth sports. They keep hardware stores and feed stores alive. They show up for neighbors during floods, freezes, and power outages. When small farms disappear, main streets often disappear with them. And that loss doesn't show up on grocery receipts. It shows up in empty storefronts, shrinking school districts, and towns slowly losing their sense of place. Food builds community or erodes it. There isn't much middle ground. And then there's the land itself. Food is one of the most powerful forces shaping our environment. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, industrial agriculture is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, water pollution, and soil erosion. Some point their fingers at the methane belched from cows. Fewer understand that the fertilizers we add to dead dirt as a surrogate for microbe-rich soil, for corn and soybeans, for example, contribute mightily to those environmental ills. But agriculture also holds tremendous potential for restoration. Farms can rebuild soil, support biodiversity, manage water more effectively, and pull carbon from the atmosphere. Practices like cover cropping, rotational grazing, and reduced tillage help create living soils that retain moisture during droughts and absorb excess water during heavy rains. And this part matters. Soil is not dirt. It's a living ecosystem made up of fungi, bacteria, insects, and microorganisms working together to feed plants and store carbon. Farmers who prioritize soil health aren't just growing crops. They're rebuilding ecological systems, one field at a time. But regenerative practices take time, patience, labor, and financial risk. In a system designed for speed and volume, farmers who choose stewardship often carry higher costs with fewer safety nets. So when you support farmers who care for the land, you're not just buying food. You're investing in resilience. You're investing in your environment. All right, let's talk about money. We've all been trained to chase cheap food, like that ubiquitous lure at Costco, the famous $5 rotisserie chicken. Do not get me started. But cheap food is an illusion. We pay for it somewhere else through healthcare costs, environmental cleanup, rural poverty, political chasms, and farmer debt. Less than 2% of Americans are farmers, yet they feed everyone. And most small farmers operate on razor-thin margins. Many carry personal debt just to keep their farms going. Most work second jobs. Many have no retirement plans. This is why micro support matters, not because it's glamorous, but because it fills gaps that the larger system ignores. It's also why convenience plays such a complicated role. Farm product delivery services like Farm to People in my region help bridge the distance between busy eaters and local farmers by making it easier to buy directly from producers without having to leave work early. That accessibility matters, but convenience alone doesn't create resilient food systems. Relationships do. Consistency does. Attention does. Food systems don't change through headlines. They change through habits. So let's bring this home. Food is not just food. It's your health. It's your community or one near you that you don't want to fail. It's your environment, the air you breathe, the water you swim in. It's your economy, the one that fills your wallet, the one that is there for you when crises break out and break supply chains. And once you truly see that, it changes how you move through the world. But awareness is only square one. Participation is what comes next. That might look like supporting farmers regularly, choosing to source one new local ingredient this month, asking better questions at your grocery store, joining conversations about food on Substack, or simply paying attention to where your food comes from. You don't have to fix the food system by yourself. You just have to choose to be a part of it. Thanks for listening to One Bite is Everything, the podcast that connects every bite you take to the bigger world. If today's conversation sparks something for you, remember, the stories you hear here don't end when this episode does. Through the For Farmers movement, these stories become action supporting small farmers and bringing eaters like you closer to the people who make your food possible. Learn more at forfarmersmovement.com. You can also follow along for more facts and red flags on Instagram at XOXOFarmGirl. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate and review One Bite is Everything on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. It helps more people like you find the show. It is my goal to welcome 100 new reviews for the show this year, and I think that just saying that out loud is working. Please join other new reviewers with your thoughts on why you love One Bite is Everything. One Bite is Everything. It starts on your plate. It has a big reach. It's a food podcast and a politics podcast and a health, community, and economy podcast too, because food touches quite literally everything. Sound design and original music for this show is by Russell Cheppa. I am your host, Dana DePrima, and I will see you again right here next week for another episode of One Bite is Everything. Until then, eat like it matters, because it does.